Welcome back to the Breakfast Show 2. We're here this morning with Sharon Anderson, the Executive Director of the Cape Girardeau Public Library, and she has her picks for the month of February. Sharon, good morning. Thanks so much for being here with us. So what do you have for February?
For February, I have some of the award books. And by the way, I'd be remiss, I'm not our director. I'm just the Youth Services Coordinator.
Youth Services Coordinator. We'll remember that.
I'm here for Katie, but that's okay. I brought award winners. Every year the American Library Association announces a whole passel full of youth media awards, and these are some of my favorites of the winners. I got a couple of them right this year.
Perfect.
So, let's start with the kids.
Wonderful.
Okay, this is called Maisie Chen's Last Chance by Lisa Yee, and it's the story of a young girl who ends up traveling to a town called Last Chance, Minnesota with her mother when her grandfather is sick, and she thinks they're going to be there for a couple of weeks to help. But life can throw you other plans sometimes. It can throw you curveballs, and she finds herself in Last Chance a lot longer than she thought she would be. But during that time, she gets a chance to connect with her grandmother and to ask a lot of questions and learn the stories of her family. Because, you know, we don't start just the day we're born. Most of us start generations back with all of these the rich stories and sometimes tough stories, and so it's a great book that asks some tough questions, but it also is a celebration of what it means to be an American.
That sounds like a good
Great
one.
book.
What's the next one we have?
The next one is for teens. It's called The Words We Keep, and it is written by Erin Stewart. Erin writes those kind of books that usually break my heart and then put me back together at the same time, and she's done it again. In this one, we have a young girl named Lily. And it's been a little bit of time since she found her sister on the bathroom floor hurting herself. And her sister's been in a treatment plan, and in the meantime, she's tried to be the perfect child. You know, there's enough going on. The family has all they can handle, but she has some obsessions of her own. And so it's a book that talks about mental illness, but it talks about it in such a great way. She meets a young boy who was also in her sister's treatment plan, and he wants her to process what happened to her sister, but he wants her to process what's going on in her life too. And they start a poetry project, and that's hence the title, The Words We Keep. And it turns out there are a lot of words that need to come out of Lily's mouth as well. So it's a story. It's a great one. If you know anyone who's ever suffered with anxiety, with depression, if you ever suffered or struggled with anxiety or depression, and it's a great one to start the conversation about mental health.
It sounds like that could be a beautiful book.
It is, truly is. And it won, I forgot to look, it won the Snyder Family Book Award, which is the award that represents the disability experience.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, and then I have one for adults. It's called True Biz, and it's an Alex Award, which means a book published for adults, but that could also be interesting to teens. And in this one, we have A School for the Deaf. And let's see, it's by Sarah Novick, by the way. This one, we have A School for the Deaf. And we meet all of these students, some of whom have never encountered another deaf person before, others who are immersed in that culture. The woman named February, who runs the school. But it's a story that just ties so many things together and helps someone outside of the deaf community understand what that experience could be like. Years ago, I read a book called In This Sign, and it's been one of those that stayed with me all my lifetime. And when I found True Biz and I started reading, I think I found another. So this one talks about, you know, it's full of American Sign Language, of lip reading, but it's also full of information about the disability experience, about civil rights for people whose culture is often overlooked. It's about love and loss, and above all, it's about the celebration of the human condition and of making connections.
I think what I love so much about these books is you can learn something from all of them. And honestly, probably any book that you read, you can really learn something. But with these, it just sounds like they all could be such beautiful books to read.
They are. Don't forget to check Libby because you can download many of these as well.
Awesome. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us and showing us this month's pick. If you guys are interested in reading or getting some new books, definitely check out the public library. They have some great options. We'll be right back.